And we start tonight with some breaking news out of Burnsville, where there was a shooting involving police just in the last 2 hours. This is a live look at the scene from Sky 11, which is near 35W and Highway 13. And as you can see, it is still an active scene with a lot of police vehicles there. MnDOT traffic cameras in the area did show a police chase right before shots were fired. Boyd Hooper live for us. And Boyd, what do we know at this hour?
Chris, we're trying to piece together what happened here this afternoon. No statements from police yet, but we've had a look at that traffic camera video. We've spoken to an eyewitness who you'll hear from in just a couple of seconds. But first, let's set the scene. There are at least a dozen squad cars here, a Burnsville fire truck, and then you'll see down in the ditch down here, that white Ford. That Ford played a big role in all of this. We're on the ramp. This is the ramp coming off I-35W onto Highway 13. Heading east here in Burnsville. Let's take a look at that traffic camera video. So what we've been able to tell from that video is this car, the Ford that we talked about, the white Ford, coming off the ramp, when the door came open and then the person driving the car actually rolled out of the car as it was rolling at a fairly low rate of speed. And then what appeared to try and stop another motorist, a motorist that was heading east on Highway 13. It looks like he was holding something in his hands. Looks like it could have been a gun. We can't say that with certainty at this point, but it was definitely trying to stop that other car. We're going to pick up the story now with the witness that we spoke to, Joycelyn Goodman.
I did tell my boyfriend, like, holy crap, I don't know if this guy is like trying to rob this person or if he's asking for help. And then that's when, as soon as that happened, that's when I heard and saw the cops let off shots.
So Joycelyn says a number of shots were fired at that time, and she said the individual is, to use her word, then dropped. A lot more that we need to learn about what happened here, obviously. I just heard from a spokesman for the city of Burnsville, for the Burnsville Police Department, and he said they're getting some information together that they hope to share with us shortly, but that's what we can tell you from here at the scene right now. Chris?
It's something we don't typically get a lot of access to, which is video of what happened. So that helps tell the story initially, but thank you for being on the scene and taking us through it, Boyd. We appreciate your reporting.
A carjacking, a police chase, and a deadly shootout on a suburban Twin Cities highway that's still closed tonight. You can see the flashing lights from police cars still on the scene of Highway 13, 7 hours after the incident. Thank you for joining us. That crime spree played out this afternoon in the Burnsville area, and here's some of the dispatch audio from the incident.
Sounds like carjacking that just occurred. Suspect fled, shot at officers now northbound 35 from 42.
The man who stole the car is white and in his 20s. Investigators say he died after he shot at police who then returned fire. New at 10, the owner of the car stopped by the scene along 35W, sharing how a birthday trip with her goddaughter turned into a frightening ordeal.
Offered me $1,000. I turned it down. He was high. He took my keys. That was it. He started shooting at them. They did their job.
That speedy summary outlines how Charmaine's white car ended up in the center of a median along Interstate 35W, surrounded by officers investigating another deadly police shooting in the Twin Cities.
Them cops had no choice but to shoot him. They had no choice. He was shooting out of my car. I almost got shot.
Police say it started when they saw the man driving a car with stolen license plates. He crashed and ran to a TGI Fridays where Charmaine was getting dessert with her goddaughter, seated near the door with her keys on the table.
He grabbed my keys and he said, I'll give you $1,000, drop me off in Minneapolis. I said, I'm with my goddaughter.
She says the man ran into her car and eventually sped off, firing shots as police were arriving.
He started shooting at them from when he left TGI Fridays. Like, he didn't even care. He was just aiming. I think he was just trying to get the sounds out to get people off of him.
The police chase ended along 35W near Highway 13. Investigators say after crashing the car, the man shot at officers who then shot back. He later died at a hospital. News of the shooting spread fast, with protesters from across the Twin Cities heading to the scene, then heard in the background of Charmaine's interview.
Either kid committed a crime, maybe.
Charmaine says she's a former cop and is thankful for the officers' actions.
So if it wasn't for these officers, it would have been some other bodies on the ground. I guarantee you that.
A carjacking, a police chase, and a deadly shootout on a suburban Twin Cities highway, all playing out this afternoon in the Burnsville area. Mariel Mose was there after it all happened.
This is the scene in Burnsville earlier between the crossroads of Highway 13 and 35W. A heavy law enforcement presence behind me of state troopers, Burnsville Police, and Burnsville Fire. There's also several onlookers, and among them are Black Lives Matter protesters. They're getting pretty confrontational with Burnsville Police, chanting things like, "You need to stop killing us." This was a police pursuit that ended in a deadly crash. So there's a white Ford Fusion in that ditch near the on-ramp of Highway 13. Take a listen to the police scanners of how this pursuit unfolded.
Sounds like a carjacking that just occurred. Suspect fled, shot at officers now northbound 35 from 42. He is in a white Fusion.
Copy, northbound 13, 35W, back window shot out, have not returned fire.
10-4, he is on foot now with a carjacking another vehicle.
Fired after 8, shots fired. Suspect down, Highway 13, 35W.
Police tell us that a white male in his 20s was taken to HCMC where he was later pronounced dead. Police tell us that they first encountered the suspect driving a vehicle with stolen plates, and that's when the pursuit began. That suspected vehicle pulled over into the ditch off Highway 13 and tried to get away on foot. He even tried to pull over another vehicle on Highway 13, attempting to carjack another car. That's when officers fired at the person and he went down. Again, a white man in his 20s is dead from this pursuit. We know that no one else was injured, including officers, but those officers who were involved in the shooting have been placed on administrative leave. In Burnsville, Mariel Mose, WCCO 4 News.
Well, you're right about that, Chris. 7 hours after this ordeal began, still a very active scene here. A dozen or more squad cars, police, investigators from the Minnesota BCA. Police in Burnsville tell us that a white male, believed to be in his 20s, was shot and killed by police this afternoon. Another stress on an already stressed community. Another Sunday, more police cars, crime scene tape, and a word that sums up a community's collective mood.
Again?
Renee Royho moved with her sons from Southern California to get away from scenes like this, captured this afternoon on a highway camera as police say a driver jumped out of a carjacked Ford. He appears to try to stop another driver at gunpoint before police shoot and kill him just after this video freezes. Before stealing the Ford, police say the driver crashed a different vehicle with stolen plates, then ran on foot.
She was at a table that was very nearest the door.
Brooke Wells says she was waitressing at this Burnsville TGI Fridays when a man ran in confronting a customer.
Came into the restaurant, literally approached her, picked the keys up off the table, and ran right out the door. I chased him out the door. He jumped into the car that was by the door, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Brooke says the man took off with the customer's Ford. This police scanner audio was captured by Broadcastify.
Anyone in the area who looked for a carjacking suspect that occurred within the last minute.
As the man drove, police say he fired multiple shots at officers who returned fire. He exited I-35 North onto Highway 13 East and bailed from the car.
I seen the guy run into the middle of 13 North.
Joycelyn Goodman was watching from her car.
Holy crap, I don't know if this guy is like trying to rob this person or if he's asking for help. And then that's when, as soon as that happened, that's when I heard and saw the cops let off shots.
Knowing what you know now?
Would I have chased him out the door? No.
As the BCA arrived to conduct its investigation, a group of protesters shouted obscenities at officers.
But y'all willing to inflict force upon peaceful protesters?
I just hope everybody stays safe, nobody does dumb stuff, doesn't riot, and that, we come together. We need to come together.
And that white Ford is still in the ditch next to the off-ramp where it's been for the past 7 hours as police continue their investigation. Burnsville police tell us that that man who was shot and killed by police was taken to HCMC, and that's where he was pronounced dead. Highway 13 remains closed at this hour. We are being told that it should reopen about 11 o'clock, but they've got a lot of work to do here yet. Again, that car's still in the ditch, and at least a dozen squad cars here as this investigation continues.
Swiped the keys right off the table at that TGI Fridays. It was a brazen move, according to that waitress. Wow. Thank you, Boyd.